So our next speaker, Sterling Garcia, has worked with the University of Florida now for years. He's currently in development and works with the Herbert Wertheim College of Engineering with materials science and engineering and also nuclear. He was raised in the Bronx, and so, naturally, he's a diehard Yankees fan. I don't know that that's naturally for me. I don't know. Lots of other teams are represented here, but we love that the Yankees are so strongly represented. But moreover, though, he received his inspiration basically to be in higher ed because he's a first-generation student, and he believes he might be able to help motivate others that may not think that they could actually pursue a college degree. And so it's a beautiful story and very inspirational. We're glad to welcome Sterling Garcia.
Thank you, Mike. Leadership, it's a mindset. It's a way of thinking about life. And so when life comes your way, you have many decisions to make, many scenarios that are going to come your way. For the next 10 minutes, what I would like to do is share with you 3 stories. They're professional stories and they're personal stories. And I'm also going to talk to you about leadership principles and why they are important and how they're applicable to your everyday life. But before I go into that, I want to share with all of you why I am so passionate about leadership and leadership concepts. 23 years ago, I changed my life forever. I became a United States Marine. And so 23 years ago, I embarked on a journey to think about leadership in a very different concept, in a very different way. And so when you think about leadership and you think about the Marine Corps, there are 2 things that Marines always talk about. 1, you never stop being a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So think about that. The second concept is that you are a Marine 24/7. So it doesn't matter whether you take off that uniform or whether you're on leave or whether you're in your personal life, you are always a Marine and you are always a leader. So that's the mindset that I want you to take away. And so with that, with my training in the Marine Corps and my training in leadership, one of the tools that they gave us were the 14 leadership traits. And this is a takeaway for everybody. Those traits are judgment and justice, dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, endurance, bearing, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, and enthusiasm. It's a mouthful. But, like everything else, and the Marines did it first because the Marines were founded in 1775, there's an acronym for it. I'll share it in a second. I'll share it in a second. My stories are going to concentrate on 3 of these leadership traits: dependability, decisiveness, and courage. But you can use any of these traits and any of these leadership skills within any scenario or situation that you find yourself in. Here comes the acronym. JJ did tie buckle. If you Google it, I promise it will be the very first thing that comes up on your Google search. It's a very easy way to remember the leadership traits. So, the leadership mindset is about looking through a leadership lens. Believe it or not, every single one of you in this room is a leader. You don't even know it, but you're a leader. So that's not the question you have to ask yourself. The question you must ask yourself is, am I making the best of my situations and the opportunities that I have every single day to be a leader? So let's explore the 3 different situations that you can find yourself in. The first is the expected. That's your catch-all. What does your everyday look like, and how can you lead? The unexpected is when life throws you a curveball and you're not quite sure what you do. What do you do in that situation? And the catastrophic is when everything that can go wrong does go wrong. Everybody knows what that feels like, Murphy's Law. So let's dig in a little bit on these, okay? What leaders do when the expected happens is they're dependable. Are you guys dependable when you work every single day? Can you be counted on to do what you need to do? Let's explore that a little bit more with a story. Again, I draw upon my professional experiences here. I received a Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal when I was in the Marine Corps. But it wasn't anything extraordinary. It was because I did what I was supposed to do. I did my job. And so the situation that I found myself in was that I was on an operation and I had to establish a communication link. And so I was the only person, the only technician that was available to do that. And of course, something happened. That communication gear did not work like it was supposed to. But I knew that people were counting on me to get that mission done. I needed to be dependable. And so I did what I had to do, and I got that equipment up and running. There are a couple of takeaways there. It's not only about dependability, but for our managers in the room. How are you recognizing the people that work with you every single day, and how can you recognize them? Here's the second scenario, the unexpected. So, what does a leader do when something unexpected happens? I would say they're decisive. It's all about decisiveness, because the worst thing that a leader could do is not make any decision at all. You have to make a decision. You have to move forward. And can you be counted on to make a decision when others are maybe afraid? Maybe it's not something that they're comfortable with. Maybe it's out of their element. Leaders look at the unexpected as an opportunity. Let me share the story. Does everyone remember Hurricane Irma? I was here at that time. And so when the storm was right about there was a decision that had to be made. And so my family and I decided that we were going to go somewhere else. We were going to go to Tallahassee. We had some friends up there. We had family up there. It seemed like a safe place to go. We were wrong. This is a satellite image along with a GPS overlay. And so that blue dot up there is where we were. And the next morning we woke up and we said, uh-oh, we have a decision to make. We have to get out of town. So we decided to go again. And what happened next was really interesting. And it was the unexpected. Because as we were driving, we came upon a car in distress. And it was an accident that just happened. So, when the unexpected happens, you think to yourself, okay, well, somebody else is going to come and take care of that. Or maybe I should be decisive. Maybe I should take initiative. Maybe I should do something. And so, I went to the car. We extracted 3 people out of that car. And in about 60 seconds, that car was fully engulfed in flames. I felt like I was supposed to be there. The leadership takeaway, though, is not that, not being decisive, but the fact that my kids were with me, and they saw what I did, and it served as an example for them. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What does any of this have to do with development or advancement? I get it. We're getting to that right now. Here's the third example. What do you do in a catastrophic situation? I would say that leaders need to be courageous. They need to dig down really deep and do things that perhaps are uncomfortable, that draws upon everything that they have. So when I talk about a catastrophic scenario, I'm talking about day in and day out. Something goes wrong. You can't catch a break. It's Murphy's Law. Can anyone think about a situation or an example in their professional lives where this perhaps could happen? I can think of one.
Costello, we start with breaking news in the CNN newsroom. In just seconds, a 200-page report will be posted online. It involves Penn State and how it handled the child rape accusations against Jerry Sandusky.
Louis Freeh, the former director of the FBI, will release the results of an 8-month investigation into the actions of Penn State officials.
Now, this report was paid for by Penn State.
Much of the report is expected to be critical of the late Joe Paterno,
The legendary and revered football coach who died last January.
about what this means for a campaign in progress. Communications, development officers, everybody on staff, and what that means. There are a lot of leadership lessons to be taken away from this situation, but I'm going to share mine. I was hired right in here. So you might ask yourself why I took that assignment, and I'll share that in a minute. But if you look at all the things that happened, the student riots, financial instability, unstable leadership, the university dealing with Coach Paterno dying, the report, it's all pretty catastrophic, right? How do you deal with that? This is where courage comes in, okay? But the most difficult part for me, and perhaps my other colleagues who were development officers, were the objections that we had to face day in and day out. Penn State's not going to survive this lawsuit. I don't know. Why should I be giving you money? Why should I donate when the institution has to pay all these fines? Are my dollars going to go in the right place? I want you to fire every single board member and the president and every single other person who was in leadership, and then I'm going to give you guys money. So why should I give to an endowment? It looks like you guys are in real trouble. Are you going to use my funds in the wrong way? They were difficult conversations, and we had to have courage day in and day out to make things happen. And I observed leadership on many different levels. Our leaders knew that we had a difficult job, but they told us to do it anyway. When they had information, they delivered that information. When they didn't have the information, they were honest, and they told us that they didn't have the information. We formed bonds with this tragedy. But what I will say is that we were successful. We raised $3 billion. We raised more than $500 million towards scholarships. We had 600 plus volunteers helping us, and it was an incredible accomplishment. And we all had courage. And we listened. We listened to our donors. We listened to our constituents. Remember that first question. Why did I accept that job knowing that all of this perhaps was going to happen and perhaps more? It's because I believed in leadership and I saw the courage that they had to move forward. And that's also why I chose to come here to the University of Florida. There's fantastic leadership here. And I have no doubt that we're going to get to every single goal we set in front of us. Because leadership happens at every level. So, when the expected happens, be dependable. When the unexpected happens, be decisive. And when the catastrophic happens, be courageous. Do what others aren't willing to do. And I promise you'll unlock the leader in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. Thank you.